time to drop the puck for some biscuits and penalties. I am your starting goalie, Alex, and joining me as always is Koba. What's going on, Koba?
Not much. I know you're the only one in the hockey sweater today. That is because tonight we're doing a double header. We still got baseball to cover, so the Dirt and Turf podcast will be after our recording. So just a heads up for our listeners. Uh, First off, I'm doing great. Thank you, Alex.
Good, good. So, big topic of discussion for tonight is NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman has said, as of I think yesterday, he wants to expand the world of hockey outside of America, primarily overseas in Europe. And I think that the NHL needs to do one of two things for this situation. A, keep the Four Nations tournament going past 2027 because they can't do it next year because the Olympics. Or B, incorporate junior hockey more into the NHL than just the draft and just the combine. But what do you think about this, and how do you think Gary Bettman might address his expansion bonus?
Um, Probably the way he might expand his NHL expansion boner is more than likely an NHL Europe. Because there's the Liga, uh there's the Continental Hockey League, the KHL in Russia. There's so many hockey leagues out there. Um, in Finland and Sweden and Czechoslovakia and the Czech Republic and Slovakia, and you know and to have like an NHL Europe would be an interesting way to expand, to kind of tap into kind of make it a like like another step down from the AHL, if that makes sense. Like I don't I don't think they'll directly involve themselves in Europe, as in they'll put a hockey team in Europe and say, "Hey, here you go." No, no. I think what they're going to do is they're going to create a developmental league in Europe, as a kind of a better way to direct traffic from their minor league systems. That would be the best bet.
Right. Yeah, definitely agree. And they're doing a good job so far with the overseas games. I know in November in Sweden they're having the Penguins play in that set. So they're doing a good job trying to have games overseas, but I feel like there's a few things going on that needs to happen. I read recently on the NHL website that I think a hockey player or a executive is trying to expand hockey into Australia. Actually, it's Blue player Nathan Walker wants to expand the red carpet over in Australia to expand the hockey world since they had the Global Series over in Melbourne in 2023. Do you think they're going to just Europe, or do you think Australia would be another good idea, even though it's a desert country for the most part?
Well, I mean, Australia was founded originally as a prison island, but no, no, I don't think this is a bad. I don't think this is a bad idea to go to Australia at all. As Australia doesn't really have much access to the North American pro sports, if that makes sense. Like, there's not enough of a pipeline. They do have rugby, they do have cricket, they do have football, aka soccer. Um, so it's not like they're not sports deprived, but and I also think that hockey is very possible in Australia. They've got, the only problem is the wildlife, if that makes sense. Like, you got to find a way to keep the wildlife away from, the arena. But do I think it's possible? Yes. And I don't think it's a bad idea. You
Definitely.
never you never know where you might find a gem. You can find a gem over in again, South Africa. I mean, Capitals did. His name's Olaf Kolzig. Greatest goaltender you had before Holtbeast came along.
Definitely agree. And according to the article, according to the Ice Hockey Australia, the IAHF, they've had 20 indoor rinks and reportedly had more than 40, and they're trying to add more. And but due to high maintenance costs and land redevelopment, it kind of makes a big pressure on trying to put more arenas there. It's definitely interesting to see where they expand because obviously we see the NFL and the NBA going overseas and stuff. The NBA has their own like European league, the guys playing to try to get more traction going on there. So it's very interesting to see that Gary Bettman is now trying to expand over in Europe instead of trying to deprive America of more sports.
See, here's the big difference, though. This is the big difference between football and basketball. Hockey has more traction in European and other foreign markets as well. You know, it's much more accessible. You know, like everyone knows. You know, everyone in Europe doesn't know our football. You know, and are barely just knowing basketball. So, but ice hockey, you know, is pretty much prevalent in a lot of European nations. You know, everyone knows Sweden, Finland, you know, in the Olympics, you know, they get, you know, so ice hockey is prevalent. So I can't say, hey, it's not going to work. It will work. And I'm not saying that, you know, to you know, not I'm not just saying that. I'm saying that because I know.
Of course, and it's about time Bateman realizes that trying to force more teams in America is not working. He wants more American hockey teams, but it's not going to work. There's too many teams on the East Coast. It's hard to expand out west. Obviously, the minor league teams are doing it, and the leagues are, but it's easier for minor league teams to do it instead of NHL because needs to be a market for it. And the NHL seems to be struggling with the market over on the West Coast to try to get more
It's
American teams.
the problem isn't the market. The market is there. The problem is the people's ability to afford the market. You know, you know, it's getting more and more ridiculous for, you know, a person like you and me to to afford a ticket. That's one thing. Another thing that is difficult is growing the game as well. I mean, a lot of the stuff that, you know, people have to buy are used. You know, to even get a foot in the door sometimes. Myself included. When I attempted to play goal, you know, a lot of my stuff is used. A lot of my stuff is, and you know, a brand new set of pads could, you know, a brand new set, a full set, can run you about $1,500 to $2,000. You
Jeez.
know, yeah. Um, and then you got to get the chest and arm. You gotta get the mask. You know, so you're looking at probably about $4,000 or $5,000. You know, just to get, you know, brand new stuff. So you know, it's an expensive sport, and not many people can do it.
I watch hockey all the time, and I'm blown away that McDavid, for all people, can skate at 22 miles an hour. I can't even roll a boy, let alone skate on ice skates for 60 minutes. It's ridiculous.
I will say this, to experience it when you can barely skate, it's insane. You know, when you're on the ice, you know, when you get closer to the action, you're amazed at the speed. I can't stress that enough. Hockey has a speed. You know, and that's the best word I can say it. It's a speed. There's no, you know, all you gotta say.
For sure. Next up, I want to address the Utah Mammoths as they came back after a 3-1 win against the Calgary Flames recently. I want to talk about not only how they are looking right now, but they just recently announced their mascot before the home opener. It is going to be Tusky. The Mammoth is the Utah Mammoths mascot. How do you think the Mammoths are performing this year as a new team in the league? And do you think they can make a threat into a late playoff push that we're not expecting out of them?
My first question is: was Mascotti already taken?
I assume so. I just know Tusky was just the name. I don't know.
Yeah, like seriously, that's like naming your boat Bodie McBoatface. Actually exists. Um, but no, the Utah Mammoth, when before they even had a name, actually looked like they had some promise and the future looked bright. I mean, the Arizona Coyotes went out like a fart in church, but it wasn't like the club was left in bad hands or in bad shape. Uh, you know, the Mammoth, formerly known as the Hockey Club, uh, were actually showing promise. They were showing that the youth was starting to gel. Chemistry was there. Goaltending was definitely stepping up. Um, so I haven't looked at the standings yet because we're kind of waiting until next month to really take a look at the standings. Um, by the way, audience, but it's just you can't help but say, hey, this team came out of nowhere. No, the foundation was there. The seeds were planted. Now the crops are starting to take shape.
Yeah, they are currently 2-2 right now. They are second to last in the Central Division. But every year we see the Central Division being a tougher division to win every single year. So during 4 games, they have won two and lost two. And I do agree. They've looked good this year. They've looked like they've have a good team this year, and they've made a lot of promise from their debut last year's Utah Hockey Club as kind of a trying to get established going. And they've had a good job doing it. Haven't had a chance to catch the game yet because they play late at night on the East Coast, and I refuse to be up super late to watch those games. But I do plan to turn on a Mammoth game. I love the jerseys. I love the fan base. I love the atmosphere Utah holds with it. I see problems with the Central Division being a lot tighter, and I see the Mammoth making a big push. Though only, I don't know, 7 points back on the Avalanche. The Avalanche are 4-0-1 at the moment. So I see the Mammoth making a decent push this year to try to make some noise and a confidence that they should be close in. We'll definitely see as the season progresses down the line. December, where standings mean everything that um, late because we're 5 months from the postseason at that point in time. So definitely
Yeah,
excited to
yeah,
see what the Mammoth.
we're 5 months away from playoff hockey, and it's right now a little too soon to gauge playoff standings because a team can get off to a really really shit start, and can actually come from behind and win the Stanley Cup. Looking right at the St. Louis Blues. I'm looking right at the Blues.
Oh yeah. Another team I want to talk about in the second year is the Seattle Kraken. They are currently 2-1. They are third place, battling the Knights and the defending. Oh, not defending. I think the Knights won the conference last year, and the battling the Knights and the Oilers with the Pacific Division. Do you think this is the Kraken's year to battle for the division title, or do you think the Knights or Oilers can fend them off late in the season to avoid a Kraken upset at that conference?
Kraken have been in the league 4 years.
4 years? Oh, my bad.
I think they've been in the league 4 years. They've only made the playoffs once out of the this is their current fourth year. They've only made it once. This needs to be the year the Kraken step up, or they'll start getting comparisons to the Atlanta Thrashers. Develop an identity now, Seattle. That's all I ask.
Definitely. They haven't seen sports success since the what
The
was it?
Legion of Boom. The Legion of
Like your
Boom.
Boom? Yeah. I was gonna say the Seahawks Super Bowl, but then I forgot they threw it instead of run the
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
We'll get into football tomorrow because we got the hard count tomorrow.
they're definitely excited for the Kraken this year to see what they can do. I do think they can make some noise in the Pacific. The Knights have started off with a good start so far of the season. They're currently 8 points and leading the Pacific right now, but I wouldn't be surprised. They're 2 points behind them right now. The Oilers are struggling right now. McDavid got his extension, I think, or is going to get his extension eventually. I don't see any other team in that conference trying to do anything. Maybe if the Canucks could pull their head out of their asses and actually play hockey effectively, the Ducks could make some noise late, but it might be a three-horse race this year in the Pacific, but definitely interesting to see what's going to happen with the Kraken this year. I do like their team. I like what they're doing this year. And I agree with you as well. I think this is make or break. The Sailors make the playoffs this year or go for a Stanley Cup this year. I don't know how much they can rebuild still outside of just getting rid of players to add more players or add draft capital. I don't see much they can do after this year if they don't make a big noise this year. And it seems like this might be the chance they can do it. It just depends on what happens with the Knights and the Oilers in the situation because there are two very tough teams in the Pacific right now. I mean, the Oilers got McDavid, a dry style. The Knights have, I'm sorry, I forget off the top of my brain who they had, but this is going to be a tough Pacific division. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah. Definitely. This is definitely good. The start. Yeah, excuse me, I can't speak. Um, this is definitely going to be a very interesting division this year. Um, especially with the Oilers trying to get the monkey off their back. You have the Kings, you have the Flames, you have the Kraken, you have the Ducks trying to return back to playoff glory. Um, it's going to be very interesting for sure.
Definitely. Before we move on, I would like to take a small break for our 30th tonight's episode of Biscuits and Penalties. And that is our friends over at Fubo TV. If you need a streaming service, catch all of the NHL season this year, make sure you use Fubo TV to get all of hockey, football, baseball, and basketball as we are in postseason baseball and soon to be basketball regular season kicking off here soon. Make sure you use Fubo. And if you do, make sure you use the link in our bio to support us and our friends over at Fubo TV. And before we wrap up, you want to add something, Cobra?
I was going to add that Fubo TV has a 30-day free trial if you haven't already signed up, and you can cancel anytime. So that's what I wanted to add.
Definitely excited to go check out Fubo. Now, before we wrap up, the final discussion is our games of the weekend. My favorite part of the show. So, Cobra, I want 2 games for Saturday and one for Sunday. What games are you tuning into this weekend on your TV screen?
Let me bring them up in 1 second. Uh, so our games of the weekend. So, you know what? Pin me down for the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm gonna definitely watch that one. Um, Give me the Minnesota Wild and the Flyers because Flyers are in my area. You know, I live in the DMV PA area, so definitely Flyers Wild. And of course, Sunday, you know what? Give me Bruins and Mammoth.
Ooh, some good games on slate for you to tune into this weekend. For me, I'm going to tune into. I'm going to tune into Seattle Kraken and the Maple Leafs. I want to see this Kraken team work, and I want to see what the Maple Leafs got. Knowing what we talked about last season with them, what they need to do to make it past the second round, because in Toronto sports fashion, they refuse to make it past the second round for anything. Definitely intrigued what they do with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner over there in Toronto. See if they can put something together. And my second game is going to be the Penguins and the Sharks. I know, oh, it's the Sharks. They're bad. Don't pick them to watch. I don't care. I want to see Maxim Celebrini. I want to see Sidney Crosby go at it. I want to see the Sharks offense give the Penguins some work tomorrow. I'm definitely going to tune into that game when I get off of work. Definitely going to watch some action over there. And my one game for Sunday, unfortunately, Cobra took my pick. I was going to pick Bruins Mammoths. I'm very intrigued for that game. But I'm going to go with a semi biased opinion, the Canucks and the Capitals. Capitals are
You got to rip
trying.
your home team, man. You got to rip your home
Yeah, the
team.
Capitals are trying to win the Stanley Cup before the unfortunate retirement of Ovechkin this year if he does leave. The Canucks are trying to be relevant in Vancouver over there, and it just seems like a really good 12:30 game to turn on or keep track of where football is happening. So I liked those 3 games for us, and we just scored against the Wild. Let's go, Caps! Up 1-0. Hell yeah! Look at me.
I want to add something to the Toronto Maple Leafs haven't made it past the second round. You want to know how long it's been since they made it past the second round?
Older than me,
How old are you, Alex?
23.
Yep, older than you by a year. It's been almost 25 years. Last time they made it past the second round was in 2001.
I was born that year, like December
Yeah,
1.
they lost to the Carolina Hurricanes. Lost to the Carolina Hurricanes, who would then, it's 2001, 2002, where they would lose to the powerhouse Detroit Red Wings, led by my favorite goaltender, Dominik Hasek.
That's some aging fun facts for the Maple Leafs and making me laugh at them more.
Anyway.
We like to plug our other podcasts. We got the Lap Down, our racing podcast. We talk NASCAR, F1, and all things racing with our friend Greg Farmer. Passing the Pigskin, our college football podcast with Tyler and our friend over at New City, Billy. The Dirt and Surf, our baseball podcast, coming up after this when we're in the middle of talking all postseason baseball because we're in fall baseball, our favorite time of year. The Hard Count, our football podcast, on tomorrow when we recap the weekend and get ready for Sunday's action. Handing Down Bench, our Shooting the Shit podcast when we talk anything but sports because we need a break from sports every once in a while, people.
Yep.
The Hand Down Beatdown, our wrestling podcast. We talk all things wrestling, WB to AEW,
And
TNA,
that is
so much more.
Sunday. That is this Sunday, Alex.
Definitely, we can talk about Crown Jewel. That it did not wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning to watch. First off,
but apparently the the John Cena AJ Styles match was brilliant.
oh yeah,
match of the year contender so far.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I've heard a lot of people saying that you take away the Brock Lesnar match, Cena's retirement tour has been goaded with who he's faced so far, and I can agree with that. But we will address more of that on Sunday.
Yes.
We're on Spotify, YouTube, and Patreon for as much as Arizona Iced Tea, so support us over there. And we are still on TikTok.
Yep.
Because it's still alive. Crazy enough as it is. And wherever you get your podcast from, if Cobra has something else to add, that is the final horn, and we'll have to step off the ice.
All right. See y'all later. See you on the baseball diamond for Dirt and Turf in 10 minutes. All right.
Oh, yeah.
See ya.